Hey Full Sail University, my name is Brendan Brown. I'm in the Design Tools class, and today I'm going to be covering the power of teamwork and delegation, and particularly why these two things are so very important and how they work together. But before we get to that, first let's cover the thesis. Now, what I believe to be true is that understanding how to run a team using delegation is vitally important in every game designer's life in order to be successful. You got to know how important the team is and how to delegate, because those two things work together. So with that said, the next question to ask is, what is a team? Teams are the fundamental building unit of any organization, and don't you forget it. And in a gaming sense or a game development sense, these are usually your game designers, your game artists, and engineers that make up a general team. They work together to make a product. But then the question might be asked, what are the different types of teams and how do they operate? Well, first you've got the executive leadership team, and these are the ones that run the company. They're the ones that hold the vision, the ones that know where to go, and the ones that keep the people that are working with them on track so that the game gets done on time. These are your leaders. Then comes the senior team. These are the people who've been around the longest and who know what they're doing, but are not quite ready yet to lead. So they do the work, they are really skilled in what they do, but they are still been around long enough that they are able to manage the younger team, and they do so pretty well to make sure that they stay on track. And so the other team is the junior team, and they're the younger ones. They've been around the shortest amount of time, they don't know quite everything as well, they don't stick around the longest, but they are skilled in something and they're put into that place, and they're very important because they help make sure that all the loose ends are tied and the game is getting done on schedule. They're still just as important as the rest. So, what does this all look like? Well, there is a cute little picture I have right here. It's on the right hand of the screen, and it's called the Tachometer of Success. And yes, it is a tachometer. It is based on that, but I'm going to go into detail on exactly what it all means and, kind of explain it. So the Tachometer of Success shows doing on one side and leading on the other. And you may ask, what does that mean? Well, in this case, high RPMs come when the team leads, and the importance of every leader is to make more leaders. The more leaders you have, the farther the team goes, and usually that starts with your executives, but it works its way down. So why is it important to make leaders? Well, this is a picture to show why it is. This is the funnel of unsuccess. You've got one leader, and that one leader ain't getting much done because all these things he could be doing is coming in and going out because he can only get so much done at one time. So let's go into a little more detail. Here's the funnel of success. Well, the funnel of unsuccess with success added onto it. You've got teams. Once a leader understands the importance of teams and delegates power to teams and other leaders, look, more work gets done. And that's why it's important to make more leaders. So then, here's the next thing. What is delegation? Delegation is pretty simple. It's giving power and responsibility and authority to do so to other people so that way you can focus on other things that are more important. You're saying, here's what I want you to do, here's the power to do it. It's pretty much giving them the power to do it. So how does it work? Well, first you have a leader. He has a vision. He wants to make games. And so what he does is he sets up a team and he says, here is what I want you to do. Here's the authority to do it. Go do it. I'm going to go focus on other things right now. And then they start doing the work that they're supposed to do, and he does other things. As time passes along, he is still working with his team, okay? So he's starting to build them up until they become leaders themselves, and when that happens, he then brings them up to his executive leadership team, and then they make their own teams, and they make their own teams, and they make their own teams, and this process continues in an optimal world. So, how do you know when to delegate? You look for these key things. First and most importantly, do they support the vision? Because if they don't, they're not ready to lead, and they're probably not fit for the team at all. The next thing you want to do, are they bringing ideas to the table? Are they getting work done? All those other things are important to keep in mind when it comes to delegation. Why don't one-man bands work? Look around. How many one-man bands do you see that are still surviving today? A good statement to remember is, a man who holds all the vision lasts as long as they can motivate themselves. One-man person loses his motivation, there goes the rest of his work, essentially. Let's look at that from a nature perspective. What are the most thriving creatures are out there? It's the ones that are the most social. Your ants, your antelope, your deer, whatever, your domestic creatures. And then also remember, it takes two to make a legacy continue. If you don't have two people together, no one can pass it on. So how does teams and delegation work together? Well, you can have a team, and that's great and dandy, but if you don't delegate them authority and power and responsibility, they're ineffective. So you need teams, but you also need delegation. Without the two, it's kind of an ineffective bunch. So let's just recap the thesis. Understanding how to run a team and using delegation is vitally important in every game designer's life in order to be successful. It is not good enough just to have a team, and it's not good enough just to have delegation. You must have both, and that's very important in every designer's life. So in conclusion, teamwork and delegation are equally important. You need both. They are not inseparable. And they are not separable, they are inseparable. And then companies need teams to survive. Remember that. Look at all the big companies out there. I guarantee you they have big teams. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to quickly acknowledge that all my research came from my previous college, Impact University, and this guy over here in the right corner, Dr. Dean Ratke. So once again, thank you for watching this presentation.